Basic explanation. Who done it? Everyone besides the black and. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you. Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is. Like, it's Kyoko. There's no other explanation, man. But Kyoko's standing right there. No, that's a ghost, man. I mean, we don't. Hey, maybe he's right this time. Maybe she is a ghost. But she has legs and stuff. Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology, man. There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate. Okay, so I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body. Her traits? Wait, are we actually doing this? Are we actually discussing that Kyoko is not a ghost right now? Is this really happening? Are we cross-examining if Kyoko is really a ghost or not? What? What? One important trait that Kyoko proves that the body does not belong to her is her gloves. I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some more insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it. In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves. And you happen to know the answer? In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see. Dots. Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right? That's probably just because they got burnt up in the explosion, man. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all, man. There's no way that corpse was Kyoko. But if I can't prove why, we're going to be stuck here and the case won't move forward. Are we serious? Like, the rest of us know that Kyoko's alive. Like, Hiro, I'm sorry. You just got to take the L, fam. You're just retarded, all right? I'm sorry. Like, so I don't have a choice but to. Oh, my God. What a dum-dum. What a ding-dong. They had fake nails, man. Sorry, Chigando. You can't fit fake nails under a glove. No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would be pretty big pain. And why would you put them on if you're wearing gloves anyway? The whole reason for fake nails is to give yourself a look. So why would you want to cover that up? Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think? Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're like complicated like that, man. I mean, they are complicated, but like they're not stupid, Hiro. That's what we're trying to deduce. Like, you're just being stupid. Kyoko's not being complicated, you're just being stupid. If anyone doesn't know women, it's you. Well, Kyoko, any thoughts? These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't intervene with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly. Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko, which should have been obvious since she's standing right here. Okay, so then who's the real victim? First we need to figure that out, man. That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles. Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. Shit. And then there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body... Crap. No, we can! Search, Chigando! I accidentally shot some phrases there, my bad. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body. What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death. Like a cruel and unusual death? This I gotta see, man. She's just being stupid. Ignore them. Makoto, tell us what you're talking about. The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand. Oh yeah, the design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it to be like, you're my bitch. Seriously, they really did something like that humiliating? No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo. Oh, sorry. Whoa, really? If you compare the tattoo and the other information, we have the victim's identity should be clear. Her profile, right? The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Murkuro Ikusawa belonged to. Okay, so to show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body. Fenrir? The image that represents Fenrir is... oh my god. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf. Fenrir? The wolf of Ragnarok. It's from the Norse mythology. A huge world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki and a female giant. Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star, man. A wolf tattoo? Then that means... exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means the person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Murkuro. What? Hold on, isn't that the one who is behind this whole thing? Yeah, you sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed, the trial this time is to solve the murder of Murkuro Ikusawa. What? Are you saying the mastermind is dead, and now we have to have a class trial? No, it means we were wrong in thinking that Murkuro was the mastermind at all. At all. A voice crack. I'm still sick, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, but we're still trudging along here. I'm going to have so many more voice cracks later. But, I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me. Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as an ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All said that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right? Dots. So that means Kyoko got it wrong, man? Then who was she? Who was Murkuro Ikusawa? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed? Usually when when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail. So you're saying she wasn't an important character, which would mean that she was the same as us, just another participant. Then who's the real mastermind? It must have been the Hope Peak Academy headmaster, after all. No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it. But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Murkuro was wrong. My information was not wrong. Okay, we're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Murkuro is the first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible. Who did it? Who's the killer this time? I mean, that's the fucking mystery. It's not like somebody's gonna come out and be like, you know what? Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects. Huh? I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to. Based on what we know, there can only be two suspects. Me and Kyoko. You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right? Why do you say that? Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym at the entire time. The gym? That's right, the four of us were trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. Which is all of which to say the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects. Exactly so. So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it, I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name. I have something to say. I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing. Are you thinking of raising an objection? Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Because he's saying that the murder could have only taken place after after they had like gathered everyone up. But when we read in the Monokuma file that it was basically a stab wound that killed him. It wasn't like the whole bomb or anything. So this person could have just been dead, locked up in a closet somewhere, and then dragged all the way to the garden later. Just because you didn't discover it there doesn't mean that's where the murder took place. What I'm trying to... It's exactly the whole plot of, what was it, the second trial. Just because Chihiro ended up in the girls' locker room doesn't mean she was killed, or he was killed there. They could have been killed anywhere else, but just taken there after you had left the garden. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue. Whatever you want, somebody go ahead and help him out. Me and Byakuya could both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at, well, it was after nighttime for sure, man. I'd say it must have been like around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened like after 10 p.m., man. Then I guess we can say that the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body. But what time did we find the body? The one who saw the body first was Toko, right, man? When she went to go get the pickaxe, man. So that was around 9 o'clock. The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m. since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe. Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, we'll get the pickaxe and be back by 9:01. He's right. It had to be around then. So we can be totally sure that the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning, man. Again, we can't assume that it was 10 at night. Because it said all the wounds were not fresh. They had been there the whole time. The only fresh wound that occurred was the explosion, which had nothing to do with the murder. The Monokuma file stated this. The murder could have taken place like a week ago. We just discovered it in the garden. I don't understand this. For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning. We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around, oh yeah, right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it. Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., man. You don't have an alibi, man. The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m., and I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay then, it looks like the game has begun. If I can't provide an alibi for that period, then I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. The incident took place in the garden, right? If I remember, there's something that happens there every morning at a certain time. We've established the time frame for the murder. It had to take place at 10 at night. Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. If it had been taken place, it had to have taken place way later. And what makes you say that? Because the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked. In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko. Kyoko is the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Mukuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone? I'd like to say one thing. If you vote for me, and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. Huh? So you're saying you're not the culprit? Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. A trap? Yeah! We're in this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time. Stop wasting energy. You really think your little trick is gonna work? Shut up, you. You got it, boss. Shutting up now. Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her. Huh? She did? She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, you were forced into another... I just actually burped a little bit there, so there's the burp for the episode. We were forced into another trial, something that I'm sure you weren't at all expecting. So that was her motive? If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit, man. Dots. I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient. Huh? The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did, because of the tarp. That whole conversation was wrong. What are you... Because you see, there's a way the body could have avoided getting wet. Interesting. I'm listening. All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet. A certain something at the scene that was used to cover the body. It couldn't have been the tarp. meaning I don't have an alibi. You're talking about the tarp, aren't you? You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover up the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp attests to that. On the other side, only one side on the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that was faced out over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked. But why would they go through all the effort just to keep the body from getting wet? Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us. Dots. Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got it wet, man. But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right? It's because that side was protected from the water, man. Since it was facing down toward the body. Of course it didn't get dirty. There should have been blood on it. It was fresh and wet. Even Byakuya can contest to that, because he said don't touch the blood, you'll get all over you. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself, not to touch it or you might get some on you. If you put the tarp on the body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it. Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody... But then why would the other side be dirty? The culprit washed it, so nobody would know they used it, man. If they had, they would have just washed both sides. Just washing one side wouldn't hide anything. Oh yeah, true, man. More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant to... as a kind of camouflage? Huh? The blood was camouflage? What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, then they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim? You mean somebody else's blood? Where would they get something like that? I know, they could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office, man. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead, man. No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got blood from right there in the garden. The chicken! The missing chicken! They killed it! They killed the missing chicken! No! Could it have been chicken blood? What? Chicken blood? When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4. So you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up, man. Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it. I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that the chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory. Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said that the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean. I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe that they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand. They covered it beforehand? When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would? I think so. No, it wasn't. It was backwards. Wait, no, the head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves. That settles it then. Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what? Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it up with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, a coat that they had already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think that the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off at 7:30. Dots. If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier. But to pull that off, wouldn't they have to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off? that actually wouldn't have been that difficult. Huh? They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. That'd be done in no time. Maybe, but still, Hina, after you met with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on? Oh no, I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later. Then he had plenty of spare time, wouldn't you say? That's not... Don't bother saying it's not possible. Why are you doing this to me, Kyoko? Why are you trying to pin the murder on me? I didn't do it. We're all gonna die. I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate. Dots. And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Dots. Disguised dead body. I like when you get truth bullets like in the middle of the trial. It's kind of funny. Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good. So once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko. Like for serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we just let Lady Luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds, man. Oh, see? Pretty good idea, right, man? No, that's not that. I just remembered something super serious. Well, don't just stand there. Out with it. You know that knife we found all black and burnt? Like the one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right, man? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through from front to back, man. So, like, what about it? I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered. Listen, more important, now that we have this knife, what are we gonna do with it? Like, we can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do, man. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Huh? Me? And it was your idea for me to hang on to the knife. It's the knife we gave Makoto. Dots. You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier. Yeah. Then why did you hide that fact? Because I thought it was fucking obvious. It's not that I hid it. It's just... Oh, it's true. And I didn't tell him about the events last night. I couldn't be sure what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her. Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed, man. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced, man. Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer? Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? Tsunoichigano, she had a head wound too! Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Murkuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard. Lies! We never talked about what killed her, man! No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with a tarp and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that bloodstained coat until after they were dead. Okay, fine. So what, man? So when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust into the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her. Maybe you stabbed her twice, once to kill her, and once to cover it up, but then the Monokuma file would state that. The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot. No, there's no way that's possible. Because of the Monokuma file. It didn't state it. The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound. Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about it, man. Then the knife was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterwards was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. Or who was really killed, or what killed her, I guess. It was the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime. So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonate the body afterwards. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as a cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise. Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect, you, Kyoko. Dots. Hold on a sec, Byakuya. What's the problem? Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim. That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her? Fine, I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of this case regardless. Dots. We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Oh yeah, according to the Monokuma file, man. Hit on the back of the head. She was hit on the back of the head. And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body. I can only think of one thing that could have killed her. Shall we continue the debate? Oh, that's not what I want to do. Bam! So she got him! Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of her head she suffered. What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it, man? The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds. Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter, man. Okay, then we're safe to assume, assuming that the blow to the back of her head was what killed her. But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object about as thick as a metal pipe. Oh, I bet it was a pickaxe, man. How's that even possible? You hit someone with that, it caved in their skull completely. Well, maybe it held it the other way and hit her with the handle, man. No way. The balance would be off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind testing on you if you want. Jesus. Hiro's voice is really playing with me. No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end of it and call it an accident, man. I'd love to scoop out the nasty brain of yours and throw it on the ground and spit on it. I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time, man. Seriously? What is wrong with y'all? We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know. We already know? I knew I could count on you, master. So what was it? Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon. Dots. The real murder weapon was the arrows. Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something, and that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo. Like an arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with? Indeed, there's no doubt about it. Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird. Hey, how dare you backtalk, master? You have no right. I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think. I don't blame Hina for doubting it because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. The titanium arrow is what it was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that that was the murder weapon. Are you sure? You don't sound too convinced. What's the problem, man? Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said that the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It'd be too thin. Unless you duct tape them. Sorry,違うんだ. You're right. Just the one arrow wouldn't have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon. Another weapon? Or something to... It was more like an enhancement, not another weapon, but... Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did. It's similar to I don't know how to pronounce names. Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation. Damn, that's harsh, man. How is it harsh? Were you even listening? Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko. I know why you're saying that, but there is clear evidence that she couldn't have done it. I've never been to the dojo. Oh no, you absolutely have. How can you say that with such confidence? Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? That's... What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect the murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of all of us, remember? Of course I remember. Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo. Dots. I have evidence? Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo? The key card. But the one thing that proves Kyoko was in the that went to the dojo is right here, the key to the dojo locker. How does that prove anything? Because I found it in your room. It was in my room. Don't bother trying to play dumb. But that key is just a final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you were the true culprit. You can't explain this anyway, so just give up. But remember who had the key to Kyoko's room. She never had access to her room for like a whole 3 days. But hold on a second. Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you? No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Dots. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know. Dots. I was just protecting you. I used my kung fu moves. I learned that shit from Jackie Chan. What? She was protecting me? Then does that mean yeah, you're not... He was thinking that he was like, oh man, I fought this attacker because I'm such a badass, even though I had a fever and I was dying and I was sleeping. No, Kyoko came in, gave him the blip blap, and then made sure that you were okay. She knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue. Could that be when... Which would mean that Kyoko... She killed someone for me? That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand. Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer. I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous. Really? But you should know better than anyone. Better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong? I should know? What? Byakuya should know better than anyone? Because he has her key! She didn't have access to her room! What does that mean? It means she couldn't have gone to the dojo because she couldn't have the key! There's my crown in the dojo locker. There we go. The locker of my own room. But could I have really done that? Byakuya should know that Kyoko didn't do it. But why him? Words just spoke what they mean. I'm not the killer. You should understand more than anyone. Master would never hide something from me. There's proof that you went there. No, there's proof that she couldn't have. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her own room. Huh? Why not? Because she had given a room key to Byakuya. I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room, then obviously I would have no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong? It would appear not. Then you're finally starting to understand. Dots. No, that's not actually true. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Dots. Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? The mastermind's trap. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko? But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... The mastermind's trap. The victim was Murkuro? And Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? I have to decide right here whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. Oh no! Obviously, I'm not gonna run away. That's some pussy shit. I feel like if I pursue her lie, it's just gonna get too jumbled. And also, if she ends up dying, she knows way more than I do at this point, because she has access to, because she had the key and she probably found some different things. But my theory is like, if I let it go, we're gonna get the wrong conclusion and we're all gonna die. I don't know. We trust in waifus. Here in Danganronpa, we trust in our waifus. We're gonna let it go. Let it go! Let it go! I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here. Something that has to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned. Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have we decided to accept her assertion as fact? Dots. I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else. But who else could it have been? I mean, Byakuya had the room key, right, man? What are you trying to imply? But of course, I have an alibi from nighttime on. I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone or put the key in Kyoko's room. Well, someone had to have put the key there. There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, and once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it. What? It had to be Makoto, right? I don't see any other option. Wait, hold on a sec. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's got to be a hidden side to this case. Huh? A hidden side, man? First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Huh. Dots. Murkuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial? And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us, so that's why it has to be... Okay, time's up! Huh? Time's up! Class trial's over! Everyone can stop talking now! What? Time's up? What do you mean, time's up? There's no time's up, since we have... It's because you were late! So we had to push time back. We had to push it back for the time start. So then, it's time for voting, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you. Voting time? Uh-oh! Am I dead? Uh-oh. But wait, I didn't do it. Now, you have all chosen the black end. Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Hey, hold on. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? But I didn't do it. So we dead? Did we all just die? Did we fail? I guess I shouldn't have let it go. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man. Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You've got it all wrong. I didn't do it. Good job, everyone. Wait, what? Good job? Yeah, they got it right. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense. It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way. It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, why do I? You goddamn hoochie! How can you do this to me? I trusted you! Kyoko! I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault. Kyoko? Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time! But I didn't do it. This was the mastermind's trap. He was just trying to get us killed. Were we learning some quantum physics? After school lesson. Alter ego! He pulled through for me! What a guy. Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, was that? Huh? Yeah, it had to be. Alter ego. Alter ego? It's just some stupid virus from that stupid guy. He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell. I don't believe this. It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning. What was that? What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was just a pinch, an itch. The stupid virus is gone now. Got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit. In a way, that's even better. That's an even better special punishment. Dots. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Dots. Is he like gone, man? Hey, Kyoko. I almost gave him like Mondo's voice there. Hey, Kyoko, what's the meaning of this? Just what the hell is going on? It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time. Huh? Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared. What are you talking about? You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. The massive high school towers over all other buildings in the bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Did we just hit the reset clock? Hope's Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. Maybe. There are 2 things you need to attend this school. 1, you have to already be attending high school. 2, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student can enroll here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school filled with ultimate students was me. Dots. Double dots. Triple dots. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It would have been weird for me to zoink off in the middle of some It wouldn't be weird for me to zoink off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Dots. Gah! Whoa! Oh, is this the trash pit? Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare? No, this isn't a dream. I could tell, because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast, dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be a kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in here till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me, and he used up the last bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now, for myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of here. Well, let's just leave. Okay, well, that would have been too simple. It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. Oh, there's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. Yeah, figured. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. And as long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. Hell yeah, brother. No food, no water, let's just sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed, and all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign, not exactly. What the? A strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was, and that had tumbled its way down with me. A giant piece of trash? Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was. Hey! She came to save me! You got a little bit of ramen on your head there, girl, though. This place smells awful. Kyoko? You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. Yeah, for leaving me out to dry in the goddamn trial. fucking whatever. I want your toes too badly to be mad at you, so I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. Dots. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again. First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Bread! Thank you! I snatched the bread and water she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth, making its way toward my stomach. Phew, that really hit the spot. Now that I've got now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. You still haven't given up then? Of course not! After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about what I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Well, how do we get out of here? Oh wait, she probably still has the key, right? But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me? To pay a debt, or no, to atone. Atone? During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. Also, I didn't make it clear in the last one. Basically, the lie you can bring out on her is that you can bring out that she has Monokuma's key. And I think she said, like, before we went down in the elevator, that it can unlock any door. So technically, she did have access to her room the entire time because she had that secret key. But of course, that's also a bad idea because not only are you basically being a dickhead and calling her out like that, you're also giving away that she still has shit against the mastermind on her. So like that would just be a fucking stupid idea in general. But yeah, that was I don't think I brought that up in the actual trial, but that's the lie that you can pull up, is that she actually did have access to her room with that Monokuma key. Didn't say anything. Yeah, okay. So you knew that I knew, but even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. I mean, I can't blame you because I guess it turned up okay. I'm still alive. We're all here. We're breathing, right? I mean, I'm not going to complain. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you. But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to survive, no matter what the cost. Why did you have to survive? I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive is to burp, is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak for one very important reason. So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak? That's right, at least I did. Once. Once? Until recently, I've forgotten what it was. You forgot? But that's... I had no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible! Amnesia? That's the Dark Descent? Then, is it really true? You lost your memory? Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? The first thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here. I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect. Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I came to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that? Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because... I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. They stole all of our memories. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would intervene with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you? And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school. Oh, yes, and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you? If I did that, then we'd all work as one. The mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. I think Monokuma already like proved that by stating that there are 16 participants in the school currently, and like they are all participating. So meaning the mastermind is also taking part of the game, meaning they are most likely a student. They are one of us. What? Well, don't make too big of a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us? If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself. But she trusts me. That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. Aww. But why me? Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but I see. Your intuition was right though. There's no way any ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind. I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here, it's to stay here. It's just like that dream I had before, but why did that just happen? Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right? Dots. Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others. I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I just watch your toes, girl. I think that's just her personality. Alrighty then, my weeaboos. That's gonna do it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed that. Chapter 5 is kind of like a setup into the final chapter. Chapter 6, baby. Get your poppers out, get your confetti, get whatever you do, cause we're nearing the end, boyos. That's why I left a little bit of the ending to chapter 5, because I wanted to kind of like sneak in like the segue into chapter 6, especially since chapter 5's trial was it was literally supposed to be a jumbled mess. That's why it was. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed that one, and I hope to see y'all in the start of the final chapter.